Hello and welcome to Make Michael Suffer. Today I will be suffering through Birdemic, Shock and Terror. There's been a lot of interesting buzz about it online, and I think it's the type of buzz that's perfect for me. This film is also ranked as the 5th worst film on IMDb, and IMDb has a really interesting description of the film. In the town of Half Moon Bay, California, there's an epidemic on the horizon, a birdemic. All the birds are attacking humanity for their devastating damage that they're inflicting on the earth. They're going after gas stations and people's cars, and the birds have something the humans will never see coming. Bird acid. Well, thanks Johnny of IMDb. With a description like that, I can't help but be intrigued. Well, I guess I'm off to watch the film. Oh, my god. Well, I don't really know where to begin, but I guess I'll just jump right into it. So, the first thing about Birdemic is that it strikes you as if it was filmed by your friend Joe on his old iPhone 4, and not only is the video quality terrible, as you'll see in a couple clips, but the sound quality is also terrible. Sometimes it's just bad, as you'll see here.
Yes, to be kind, honest, respectful.
And other times, it just awkwardly cuts out. The next thing you'll notice about Birdemic is that everything in it takes forever. For example, at the beginning of the film, you have 3.5 minutes where a guy's just driving a car as the credits roll, and then once the film actually starts, every time a character walks, it's like you're following after them with stalker-like intent. And sometimes there are just unnecessary scenes where nothing really happens, such as this one where we zoom in on gas prices for weirdly long. And then there's this nightmare. And regarding that last clip, we have to talk about editing. It's just crazy bad.
What do you do?
I'm a fashion model.
And a beautiful one, too.
Thanks.
Is this a normal way to have a conversation? And there are even times where things aren't cut correctly. I'm not really sure what happened here, but the editing is definitely not correct.
Not really. I figure if I don't make it big by the time we start, I figure I'll just take it from there.
Next, I have to talk about some of the genuinely weird decisions in this movie, such as the birdcage on TV in the background of this painfully awkward sex scene.
What do you think?
And the fact that a grown man just happens to have a remote control car at work. But nothing is more bizarre than the way that Birdemic tries to work in social issues into the film. Like, the film seems to be a pro-green energy, anti-climate change film, and normally I'd be all for that, but it doesn't do it effectively at all, and it does it extremely heavy-handedly, which gave us this basketball scene that makes the football scene from The Room look very normal by comparison.
Whew, heat's killing me.
I know, man. What's with this weather? A heat wave in winter?
I don't know.
And then later on, the main character goes on a double date to An Inconvenient Truth, which is, I guess, still in the theaters in the Birdemic universe. And finally, the main character uses his newfound wealth to found a green energy company. And all this just gets weirder after the Birdemic starts. At a certain point, they find a random old man on a bridge.
Hey, look. There's an old guy on the bridge.
And he just happens to be an ornithologist who both knows that the birds behaving so strangely could be due in part to the bird flu, but also global warming. And then it gets even weirder when they introduce this hippie character with an amazing hairdo later on.
Why were you hiding in the trees?
Well, this is my home. I live here. That's my house.
So this guy apparently lives in a treehouse in the redwoods, where it's so natural that the birds won't attack. And then, if you're wondering why they leave the forest where the birds don't attack, well, if your first thought was that they'd hear a mountain lion, you'd be right.
I hear a mountain lion. I gotta get back to my house. You better get to your car. It was very nice meeting you.
And don't worry, global warming isn't the only issue that Birdemic attempts to address. It also attempts to address pacifism, and that's another great thing to address, but not in the way that Birdemic does it. Like here, where they just have the imaginepeace.com on a white piece of paper randomly during an even more awkward sex scene. Or here, where we have this Emmy award-winning piece of dialogue.
How come you're still on the Marines?
I just got tired of all the fucking killing in Iraq. Why can't we just give peace a chance?
Speaking of dialogue, my god. In the beginning of the film, we're treated to the most painful 5.5-minute first date that I think is imaginable. But luckily, the next day, it said that this date went perfectly. And then there are moments like this.
I'll give you that and 50% discount. Can we close the deal today? Can I place your order today? Great, thanks. We appreciate your business. Woohoo!
Hey, what's with all the noise?
Caught the big fish.
Yeah? How big was the sale?
$1 million.
And this.
I closed a big job offer today with Victoria's Secret.
Wow, congratulations. I think you'll look great in those lingerie.
Thanks.
Which I think just speak for themselves. And now onto the Birdemic itself. If you're wondering why it took me so long to get to the Birdemic, it's because the movie also takes a really long time to get there. It doesn't start till about the halfway point of the movie, and when it starts, it is glorious. So first off, the birds appear to be like kamikaze pilots. And of course later, they attack the main characters and their newfound friends. And how do you think they defend themselves? With coat hangers, of course.
We need something to protect ourselves. Use these to...
Luckily, they don't have coat hangers for the entire movie, or else we wouldn't be able to have excellent moments like this. Now, there are some truly fantastic scenes during the Birdemic, such as when this character dies trying to take a shit.
Oh my god. She's dead.
Or when this group that was just rescued from a bus is attacked with bird acid. And that bird acid comes completely out of nowhere, and of course, it never happens again. The birds just return to their normal type of attacks after this scene. Now, how does this movie end? Well, the birds just stop attacking. That's an excellent question, main character. We don't really know exactly why they stop, but there's a group of white birds that seem to come in and make the evil attacking birds stop. And what exactly these white birds are, I honestly don't know. They might be doves and another weird pacifism metaphor, but honestly, I can't say. And honestly, there's more I could say about this film, but for this video, I feel like I've said enough. And if there's more that you want to see, I guess you just have to suffer through the film yourself. So, final thoughts. Holy shit, was this movie terrible. I know it's only my second video, but Honestly, I have to give it a 10 out of 10 on the suffer meter because I don't know how a movie could be worse. It was honestly bad in every single way a movie could be bad. And as far as entertainment, I will give it 1 CGI dead bird. Also, Fateful Findings is still in the way, so I guess that video is going to have to wait. And before anybody says it, I'm not doing Birdemic 2 next. But I guess for the next video, you'll just have to wait and see what it is.